Hey folks, Brandon Chapman, City Council member here in our amazing city, just trying to make sense of COVID 19 and trying to reconcile our desire to stay safe and healthy with our desire to be social creatures and support local businesses, which are a huge economic driver. So there's been something on my mind. It's this fence behind me in the corner of my property, and for me, it's been a really good reminder of something called perspective. So there had just been a crappy wire fence back here in the corner of the property, and our neighbors who were living here at the time, they since moved, put in this fence a few summers ago. Now I was raised that the finished side, the good side, goes on the outside, and there were a small handful of reasons. There's curb appeal to the finished side facing out. Other people see your home and yard, and you've added that curb appeal. There's also a logistical reason. If a fence historically was to keep people out, the braces facing outward just gave someone an easier way to climb over the fence. In many places, it's actually a code issue. But the main thing my dad taught me was that it was an etiquette issue. You're putting the gross side toward your neighbor, well, then you're a bad neighbor. So this fence went up. Really good cedar fence. Cost them like $7,000 to build. I mean, yikes. And then built it with the crummy side facing us. And I've been stewing on this for about a year, even though they moved away. A few months ago, I was sitting on my back deck looking at this fence and thought, why the heck am I so upset about this? Why does it bother me so much? Well, I'm the kind of neighbor who will bend over backward to do things. We had some nice blue spruce trees that were planted not too long ago. Here's blue spruce trees. They had all grown up, tall, and then they blocked one of the neighbors' views of the university. And so, guess what? I cut them down, right? We're gonna plant something else there that's a little less tall. So there I am, stewing, and I had this epiphany. Had I built the fence, this is exactly how I would have built it. I was only mad because I didn't build it this way. They built it this way. But had I built it, this is exactly what it would have looked like. I could keep being mad, or I could just pretend that I built the fence and that my neighbor paid for it. And that is perspective. So there are a lot of things in our city that are just so black and white, or are they? Do we maybe need to challenge our thinking a little bit? We want to support business, but we want to stay safe. When we moved to phase 3, we had only 50% capacity for restaurants. Then in what ways can we think outside the box and figure out ways to increase capacity? So while Pullman population was down, did we figure out ways to use sidewalks, on-street parking spaces, and even normal street spots to have outside seating? Spread things out a little bit, increase capacity, so increase what 50% looks like. It was perspective. In terms of the downtown master plan, there were a lot of ambitious plans. It's important to remember that many concerns have been voiced by both business owners and residents regarding a desire to bring more people downtown. So things were tried. The reaction was rather visceral, especially pertaining to parking, specifically back-in angle parking. And as I spoke to a concerned resident, I explained the reason for trying these things, and their eyes were opened. They did not want it to be a part of the permanent plans, but they fully understood why we tried it. Their perspective was changed so much that then they found it necessary to apologize for some of the mean-spirited comments on social media, which was nice of them, though they certainly didn't need to do it since it wasn't actually their comments. So my challenge to myself and to each of you is to think outside the box by challenging our thinking. Change the perspective, and if you come up with a great idea, let me know. When I ran for council, I said that I felt like many of our challenges could be solved by our city's really smart people, many of whom were currently unengaged. Well, let's engage. If you have an idea, let me know. I'll make sure to advocate for these and make sure, if you want, you get all the credit, because all we may be lacking sometimes is a different perspective. Thank you so much for caring so deeply about our community. I fully believe that together we can do anything, and that's because together we can all be Pullman proud. Thank you so much.